Now, we should be live. Although no one's watching yet, so we're going to wait. Hello. We have 2 viewers. See how many more we get. Disaster. After trying this twice already. It's not working out, but it's working out now, so we're here. We're being moderately successful at last. Good evening, White Sapphire. Hello. It's good, isn't it? Little party trick. We got the Easyphone Panasonic 616 out, which we were playing with earlier. Ah, yes. We're on for the Subdued short live stream. Let's see how that goes. A lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. Let's see, for a few more people to come in. Let's see, we've 3 at the minute. Oh, hello. Hello. Yeah, I love that. Love that. And there's a fair few old phones around the place which I can get going now, which is good. I lit them up especially for you. Yeah, although they'll be coming down soon, I think. Matthew Griffin. Hey, Odge, how did you start off repairing? Ah, yes, you must be new to the channel. I usually go into this every now and again. We started off working in our little TV repair shop. Well, going in and after school on Saturdays, annoying people. And yeah, sort of spiraled from there. What's your main interest in vintage electronics, Matthew? And welcome aboard. Who else have we got? Yeah, very late coming on. I tried to go live 3 times and the computer failed me 3 times. It wasn't good. Well, we're in action now anyway. So we'll see if anyone else pops in. Bit of a disaster. I can't leave that alone. It's great crack. Patrick Bourne says it's a cold night. It's actually quite mild where I am here. Well, it's about 11 degrees out at the minute. Just turned on the heater for a minute in here, but it's not cold. The venerable Kev B is in the chat as well. Good evening, Kev. Good to have you aboard, sir. Always good to see Kev B in the chat. In the chat. My Kev. Kev, have you seen my telephones? Hello? 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 Yeah, it's going to be the theme for the night, I think. I like that. Oh yes, a ring box somewhere. Yes, we have a PABX, which I will attempt to show you. I was talking about this in the last live stream. This is the Panasonic Easyphone 616. And apparently these are the business. And especially my one, because it's the one that has 16 extensions. 15 extensions or 16? 15, I think. No. There we go. Yeah, so there's various flavors it is, but I think this one is the bee's knees one. Has a doofer for opening a door and a door intercom as well. I think you can plug 6 outside lines into it. So, yeah. No sign of Roundy Mooney and his big spanner tonight. No, not tonight. No, we might pop in. But yeah. Apparently all the vintage TV lads want to get their hands on a Panasonic Easyphone. It's the thing to have if you have vintage phones. Apparently. And she'll do pulse dial tone and dial tone or whatever you call it. I don't know. I'm not into telephones. But those are the telephones. Those the modern telephones and the oldie telephones. And apparently quite a few of these are still in service in places. Hello? I quite like this actually. So. Chipmunk would like that. You know Chipmunk likes all blowers. There you go. Anyway, phones galore. So I need to get a few phones wired up about the place and install the Easyphone somewhere. Yeah, you can never get bored of that, would you? Maybe a little bit. This one looks like a US Bell set. I don't know. It's made in Ireland, I think. Some of them are made in Ireland. Some of them, it was, yeah, made in Ireland by Northern Telephone. There you go. Patented 1968 and 1970. Northern Telephone. Ooh. Oh. I was only given this one today, actually. Yeah. So, let me catch up with the live stream. As I say, we have Matthew Griffin here. Welcome aboard. Noel Conway's here as well. Brum Adam is here. Whichever says they were popular system of the day, second only to the BT 2+8. You'd get a shock if someone else was actually on the line. I would, because there's only 2 phones plugged into it. Unless it's haunted or something. I need a trim phone. There. Did I have them in Ireland? I don't know, but I know what you're talking about, alright. Nortel. So it's a 500. Where you going? Nortel. See what he did there. Trim phone had a radium dial, but it wasn't that great. Now, yeah, I'm led to believe that this box then will do the magic if it's plugged into the router. We do have a landline here, which we never use. Never used. I don't even know what my number is. I'd have to look at the bill. Because mobiles and stuff. But yeah. Tone ringing illumination model. Oh, very good. I do remember having a phone being home years ago where there was a little bulb inside it that lit up the lights. Or lit up the bulb inside that lit up the keypad. Nice green colour it was. A proper bulb too, not an LED or any of that nonsense. That's a nice ring, isn't it? So we have a few of these. Well, of two. I'm gonna say a few. A few could be two, couldn't it? One or more is a few, I'm sure. I'm gonna get these wall-mounted ones going. So, these are being unceremoniously disconnected from wherever they lived, so they need a bit of wiring up and that. They're a bit of fun though. So we get a few of them going around the place. So that white one on something special, and a black one as well. Quite like the black one. I think we'll put the black one in here. Yes, and then we've got a couple of these lighter ones, but these appear to have faults with them because they're not working right. One doesn't ring out. This one doesn't do anything at all. Oh, yes. Telephones are fun. Ring that again in a minute. We've 19 viewing with 5 thumbs up, which you know what that means. You need to get your thumbs out. I need a red one that's a hotline to Roundy Mooney, yeah. Be a long way to run a bit of wire though. Probably need a booster or two in between me and Roundy Mooney. I think Roundy Mooney's probably about 250 miles away from where I am. He's a good spin. Let me see and catch up with the chat. I do hope my sound isn't too bad tonight. Yep, should work okay. Don't know what you may. You may have to do fiddling with the settings to get it to do the pulse tone conversion. In a previous job, when they found out I could fix stuff, they'd nab me for a month or so applying a mod to system exports. Don't like the sound of that, Kev B. Noel Conway says, Northern Telecom had a big manufacturing plant at Galway. They closed it down about 15 years ago. I got a load of gear out, including a Tektronix scope and a spectrum analyzer. Oh, very nice. Whichever says the sound of normal chipmunk inquiries. The one that doesn't do anything wouldn't happen to be a British one imported from it. And the UK used a different wiring standard to the RJ11 end. Well, it has it's Mark Telecom Ireland, so it's an Irish one, I should presume. Was it made in Ireland? Made in Wales by Nortel, but she's stamped Telecom Ireland, so she should be plug and play like the other ones. I think, I don't know. And they always had strange Irish names, and I'm like this one. This is a slightly lighter one than the previous. Called a Corb. We had one of these at home for a while. Seem to remember. And that's the back for those of you really interested. Yes. Yeah, they've got problems with them. This one, you can hear the dial tone, but the pad isn't working. And it doesn't ring. So the other one doesn't do anything at all. None of this is of a surprise because they all came from a wee skip in my previous employ. Reese is here, Kev B. If you're working on an outside phone DP box in the damp and the line rings, you know about it pretty quick. Yeah, it's only 50 volts, but it does give you a nip. Let's do that again for the crack. Super. 1, 6. You can hear the little relay clicking in it too. Great fun. Yeah, they don't make them like that no more. That is for sure. A phone in every room. I don't think I'll be putting any in the house. Well, I might put one in the kitchen. But if I get my other workshop, if I go ahead with that, we'll have one in here, one in the other workshop, one in the shed next door, one in the other shed, and maybe one in the house. That'd be 5. Yeah. I'm glad it's working. When I plugged it in today, it didn't do anything at first. It just made horrible noises down all the lines. So I said, I'll leave it plugged in for a while. So I went in and had me dinner. And when I came out, it was working perfect. So I don't know if there was caps reforming or whatnot. But I was well after an hour of sitting plugged in. Hello? Hello? Yeah. I don't think the microphone's working this one either. They'll all need various servicings. That's the story anyway. Telephones. Ease a phone. Yes, indeed. Ringing in the UK with 75 volt AC sat on top of the 50 volt. More than enough to make you fall off a ladder. Ooh, very interesting. I always love that bit in the film War Games where the young lad shorts something out on the handset in the phone box and gets a free call. I wonder if there's any truth to that. There is, Reese. It was called Phone Freaking. And there was one famous chap who got, I think he got locked up for it in the end. Phone Freak. If you look up Phone Freaking, and there's actually an interview with him with a fella called Art Bell, who used to be a radio presenter in the States. He used to do long form interviews on nighttime radio about paranormal stuff and other interesting stuff. But he interviews this phone freaker, and it's very interesting actually. Yeah, your man got raided by the FBI in the end and all, but yeah, there is truth to it. And there was all sorts of special numbers they rang, and they used to talk to one another and have chat lines, and then they could put in numbers and pick things up. And yeah, it was an interesting. This is back in the 80s, so which is when War Games was made. So yeah, there was a bit of truth to it, all right. Worked for TeleWest, now Virgin uninstalls. Most of the cabinets and pits were a mess. wonder if it's improved. Probably not. Dave Rhodes, there's a rotary dial phone on display at the hipster shop in Leeds, doubtless with a stupid price tag to match. Now, I bet it doesn't work like this one either. Ah, super. That is the super. Stephen Hawking was a borough for free calls in his youth. You know, I've seen the Art Bell vid where the bloke supposedly from Area 51 rang in. Oh, yeah. Well, one with this phone freaking dude anyway. They call it phone freaking, but PH instead of F freaking. But if you just Google Art Bell phone freak or whatever, it'll come up. Good interview. Have any phone pagers? Inquires Marcus. No, it's one thing I don't have. Is a phone pager. No. Oh. There's an app now that lets you make phone calls through a dial phone connected to your smartphone. Of course, freaking is all finished now, I'm sure. I doubt there's a whole lot you could do with a phone today. Captain Crunch was and Steve Jobs were all into freaking. Oh yeah. Now some nice phones in the container, which I will dig out over the next few weeks and try to see if I can get them going. With the aid of my little magic box. Of course, Chipmunk is a little late to the chat, so I'll lift up the little magic box again and show. I got this out with Skip. No, I didn't. It's given to me by an electrician. Sorry. Most things come out with Skip, I do forget. It was rewiring the surgery or some such. You like old stuff? Yeah. So here you go. Nice little machine. Okay, I have the maneuver for the open a door and an intercom as well. People seem to be very keen on them for their old phones. Yeah, that's a bit of crack, that. So I want to keep that, set it up in due course. Find somewhere to mount it on the wall. It needs to be on the wall. It can't be lying on its back. It will overheat and die, which we don't want. So you could even mount it outside in a nice wooden cabinet. Chipmunk says, I believe programming some of those models, you need a key phone on one of the extensions. You may be able to do it with touch tone. I don't remember, well, in the manual. Yes, I did read that. You can program them. Now, I don't know what I'd need to program. Do I need to program anything to make it work? Or will it just work? Because it's just working at the minute. Extension to extension, but maybe if I get big and bold and try to connect it to the real world, then I maybe have to do something. I don't know. Hello, Rob. Yeah, hello. Hello. Yes. Super stuff. There's a young lad with a channel called Look Mum No Computer, and this museum is not obsolete. He's got a museum filled with old school electronics, including some old phone stuff. I've seen him. Rob is in the chat. Good evening, Rob. Hello. How are you? Our setup consists of a BT Reno, small version of the 2+8, and a couple of Omnicom systems, and FS2828 and a 1550. Ooh. He's got a lot of energy. Yes. Hello. I know I'll be able to stop doing this all night. Child in a candy shop. You need a dial home if it's like that. Proper dial home. Yes. Oh, I think you can do a Windows terminal as well. It has some big doofy socket on the side of it, which frightens me. Yes, this thing on the side of it, which is a 232. So you can probably plug it into some sort of a computer thing as well. And it has an output for paging. And you can also pipe in hold music. That's probably when you need the snazzier phones. But we won't need all that for what I'll be doing. I'm not being enough of just a few phones can ring one another, to be honest. Not overly pushed about connecting it to the real world, but we can see. We have 20 viewing, and it's just gone 25 past 10. I'll put the heat on just for another second. Give it a little blast. Always remember not to pull the plug on the computer like I did before. Framing interest. CNET is a collector's network of old phones and phone systems. Uses asterisks and VoIP for trunks. All kinds of stuff connected, and uses its own country or area codes. So you get your own individual phone number then when you're hooked up to this thing. Remember my first time CompuNet on my C64. Interesting stuff. One of the things I don't like about it, well, it's not a big deal, is that if you dial a number, an extension that hasn't got a phone plugged into it, it doesn't know that there isn't a phone plugged into it, so it just rings. See, there's a real redial button work. No. Interesting. Anyway, enough of that. If you have a vintage exchange, you can apply them to them for your area's original code. Like here in Southampton, it will be 0703, but there are some exchanges already. Yeah. It's quite clever, really. Yeah, so I'm happy the mystery box that was dropped out to me is of use. So we can get a few of these old phones talking to one another again. Should be a bit of crack around the place. We'll see how our little Panasonic friend fares over the next few days. It's amazing, really. Apparently, they're really reliable. Some of them were installed in places for 40 years and never switched off. No one ever looked at them. Must use some super capacitors in them to last that length of time. We've got 18 watching now with 12 thumbs ups. You need to get Mrs. Odgenodge one at the other end of all those extensions. Yes. Well, probably I might mount one in the kitchen at some stage. Are old phones cool? You tell me. The studio workshop is here. Good evening, sir. How are you? Jim Simpson has a brand new Usagi electric t-shirt on. Oh, there's a poll. Anyway, just for you, Mr. Studio Workshop. Oh, love that. I don't know what I like more, the phone ringing or the clicking in the little PABX. Oh yes. No, I'm very happy with that, I must say. I'm getting a bit of crack out of that. It's gonna be fun. Ah. 10 people think old phones are cool. Do. Start a poll. Would you buy Odge Nodge merch? Do. Jim Simpson, he's managed to get some truly ancient stuff going again. I'm beginning to get into all computers. It's great working with low voltages for a change. I still prefer valves and stove. I've been carrying an old Nokia phone in my backpack, fully charged. Saved my bag after it got stolen. Some homeless guy found it with my bag and the vintage valve radio in it and was reunited. Do I have any slogans to put on a t-shirt? No, but I'm sure I can come up with one. Like, get the fuck out of me garden, take your lawnmower with you, or something like that. Yeah. The poll is in. Some people would, some people would not. Something about PCI. More cowbell, although that could be copyright, it could be. Yeah, I don't know. We'll look into that. It's fact, yeah. I would know to say stronger things than that, but that would be an acceptable thing to have across a t-shirt or something. A picture of a flaming aerosol, I had to spell that right, would be amusing. That's probably copyrighted, but we can look into that. Another one gone to where, I like that, yeah, I might steal that. Yeah. Careful now, down with this sort of thing. I love my brick. I had an interesting one tonight. I dug out an old Sega Saturn the other day. It's mainly video and pulsing when the CD was being accessed through steel. 16 of you good people are watching this nonsense tonight, Wednesday at 20 to 11. Would you believe that? Where does the time go? I've had 2 days off in the last 18 days, and they haven't been in a row either. So I'm off tomorrow. I'm back in work again the next day. So that's 3 days off and 27. It's Tuesday. It is Tuesday, isn't it? You do start to forget these things when you're in work all the time. I'm not getting paid enough for it. Hello? Yes, super. Cap testers lie. Yes, Chinese one, yes, but the peak one is usually spot on. I have to find the Chinesey one that I have somewhere is pretty good. Which is somewhere. You know the one I'm talking about anyway because I did a video on it before, and it's often seen in my videos being used. Handiest piece of test equipment I have? Oh, I don't know. KSB's voltage standard has to be a close one. Thank you, Kev. To anyone who hasn't seen this before, Kev B kindly put this together for me. I sent him a bit of crap wrapped in a bit of plastic for calibration, or for to check it, and came back like this. Look at that. Yeah. Look at that. That's Kev B's work. All hail Kev B. What'd be interesting, Kev, in a few years will be to put it back on your meter again and see how far it's drifted. Although I have a feeling it won't be too far. AD 540, if I'm not mistaken. Very nice chipmunk, isn't it? Kev B does lovely work. We have another chap that calls in here from time to time called Kevy Wevy Woo. Another Kev, who's also very handy too. Something about Kevin's studio. I like to use those Chinese testers and mega high voltage resistance units for breakdown. I have a HT supply I'd normally use for that though. Sometimes, now Kev, you're being modest. Yes, indeed. If in doubt, ring 11. Yes. I'm looking forward to getting those wall-mounted ones going. The white one in the kitchen, the black one out here now mounted somewhere could work out quite well. Oh yes, the reefers are great. I love the bit of smoke. They always put on a good show, the old reefer caps when they go, to be fair to them. Has a couple of Claire testers to look forward to tomorrow. Never had nothing to do with them. The audio jumble in Tunbridge Wells, yeah. Never went to that now. We'll be going to the MVCF. Retro Tech. And should be going to the Goblin in October. Diabolical Artificer, I have seen. He's a famous member of the UK Vintage Radio Forum. So far, he hasn't found any good ones. Shango is unorthodox. Well, yeah, it's fair to say. Powell. We love a Powell. See how that goes down. Yes, the urge to replace cap straight away should be fought. You power it up first, and then you go from there. Right? Otherwise, you don't know what you're dealing with. I've said this every time I start one of these televisions or radio. I always say the same thing. Do not go in there and start replacing shit before you show it some power. Isn't that right, George? George Christophe will agree with me 100%, because you wouldn't be seen to disagree with me. Gent George, good to see you here. 50-50 so far. Get voting, people. Ooh. Has anyone repairing stuff for public? How do you deal with bad customers, difficult people? Now that's an interesting thing, Studio Workshop. Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute, maybe. Can we come back to that? Because that could be worth spending some time on, actually. Chipmunk could be right there. Like cards and technical knowledge, but Shanghai more immune. Had a fluke in today. It looked like it had been sat in a pond for the last few months. Clean at work, and though definitely the best stuff. It is, Kev, isn't it? I mean, people are talking about, Gosson and all these other crowds, all these nobodies that are making multimeters, but I'm making multimeters that are probably more accurate than the fluke, have more features than the fluke, but it still comes back to that bit of yellow on the bench. I don't care what anyone says. That's the business. It just looks the part, right? So yeah, there's no getting away from it. Fluke of the bee's knees. And if they continue making stuff like they did then, talking about the 83 Mark III, that series, I mean, if they keep going like that, they probably need to bang a bit more innovation into it. And I know Fluke was sold to some crowd and whatever. But yeah, no. Only a snip. Put main suppression, then go, go, go. Only a snip. Only snip out instead of put, I'll take it. Yes, see that. No, you leave that in. That's cheating, Studio. You have to have that in. That's the best bit when all the smoke comes out. The answer to this involves throwing their stuff back and using real words. I agree with that too, George. What is the TV on the set on the bench? Inquires Rob. It's a GC 2000 series, badged as a McMichael that we haven't got to yet. Well, we haven't got back to yet. We have a 405 line operation, and we've a problem with the tuner on 625. Should get to that in the next week or so. Gonna have a little bit of time off, I think. Chipmunk. Your areas of expertise are more specialist than mine, so difficult customers have much less excuse. Electricians are easy to find. Electricians who understands aerial impedance matching and that's so easy, but the customer did not know that. In my first job, all calls are routed through a switchboard. I heard that. Allegedly, someone once said, "Do you know who you are talking to?" To a customer, and then said, "No." Told him Shango has gone weird over the last year, so I haven't been watching that much of Shango. I haven't been watching much of anything due to a lack of time. Could you expand, George? Sounds interesting. We'll bang up the, we'll see how many people voted. 8 votes. All right, we'll go with that. It's a tie. There you go. Will George be attending the RetroTech event? Yeah, the political thing bothers me too. I get a bit sick of that. As you know, George, I am strictly apolitical here. Oh, well, I'll see you at both, so all being well. Um, Retrotech is 100% confirmed. Goblin, 80. Um, yeah, the politics stuff gets boring. I mean, without getting political, politics is just there to divide people. The whole system is built on division and the sense that you have some sort of a say in it all by getting to put a piece of paper into a wooden box every few years. It really is a load of bollocks. Yes, I understand what you're saying, George. Paul Carson's storage areas are like the warehouse from the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, yeah, he mustn't be short of a few quid anyway, because some gaff he has. The best of luck to him. We can only dream of such things. It's okay occasionally, but I don't care about US politics because they're all tossers. Exactly. These days with politics, everyone has that view and you don't change it. And yep, division. Agree. Incredibly polarized in the US. I'm tired of that aspect of Shango's videos. Yeah, just keep it on topic. I mean, if it bothers him that much, maybe he should split the channel in two and do a politicky kind of channel as well, where he's like all these other heads. I don't know. Um, Years and years went by without difficult people. Then poof, a few came by all in one go, more or less. Clingy people who cannot fathom a basic response time, strange behaviour, and outright lies. Listen, I don't know. Are you doing repairs for a living? Is it your full time job? Or are you just doing the odd repair here and there just to subsidise the hobby? Or what way is your approach to it? Because you need to. It's not easy. You have to have a thick skin when you're dealing with the public. We had plenty of Barneys in the old TV shop as well, but fuckers, I can tell you. And that's what people are. I mean, you have to be very careful. Be very careful your standard of work. You cannot. You have to be beyond reproach. Because when you end up in the small claims court or something, you have to make sure you have all your T's crossed and all your I's dotted. So, yeah. And one customer that argued with me that VGA cable carries audio. Yeah, well, you see, that's polarized electrolytics, on the other hand, indeed. No, that's why I was always very strong on the fact that we avoid politics at all costs here, really. Well, I think I've made one or two political comments in my time, but to which now I can't remember. But generally, no. Hello, Courtney. All being well, we will. I'll give you a ring. I do try to be reasonable, Chipmunk. So, studio is full time at the repairs now, right? Self-employed, I have a customer contract which outlines my work processes, etc. Make sure everything I do is covered, insurance, etc. as well. Very good. Yes. I can tell you now, studio, from someone who has done it full time and I'm considering doing it again. I am considering. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. I'm in a job at the minute now, which I don't really enjoy, and I could probably clean enough out of this kind of thing. It will probably mainly be vintage hi-fi and stuff, but I could probably get enough out of it to justify it. Maybe do pot testing or some shit on the side. But I haven't been down that road before. I know it's not simple. And you will come across people who will want to smash you in half. People are arseholes. Just remember that in business and it's not fun at times. That's why, from a hobby point of view, it's great to get a television on the bench and do it up. But if I was doing this GEC McMichael up for somebody, I would have to charge them a non-merciful amount in labour. So labour, workshop, lights, heat, rates, whatever, insurance. You would have to be charging in Ireland, probably not far off in the UK, allowing for conversion, €55 an hour. Plus parts, etc. I spend a bit of time, we get the television nice, I send it back to the customer. 6 months later, the line output transformer goes in this television. I can't get one. Where does that leave me? I'm after hitting them for 400 or 500 quid. And now the line output transformer's gone. They want another one. I can't get one. They want that money back. You know, what sort of a warranty do you leave with vintage stuff? Doing vintage stuff just isn't simple either. Studio says, had someone return a monitor that wasn't turning on, which I repaired after a few days. Monitor make was the same, but the serial number wasn't. Yeah, you're gonna get that kind of shit, alright. Yeah, I had a similar one years ago with an aerial. I was up on the roof of a house doing an aerial, and the next door neighbour come out. My television's gone off. I says, look, missus, there's nothing that I did. Your aerial is on that chimney over there. Anyway, screaming and roaring head case. So I said I'd have a look at it. And the masthead amplifier was completely full of water. And I pulled the coax up, right? I gave a tug on the coax. It was going down over the roof, down into the house. And it came up in my hand. And it was quite clear that the end of this coax hadn't been connected to one in many, many years. So that's the kind of stuff you're dealing with. The old bitch was on cable TV. Anyway. Nobody would pay labour rates on a job. They would rather buy new. Well, yeah, but if it's a vintage hi-fi or something that they want, they're going to have to. But I understand what you're saying, George. That's why I wouldn't. Someone was trying to coerce me a while ago into going into the white goods trade. No, not a hope. And I got into the facts and figures of it with this gentleman. I asked him some simple questions like, how much do you charge to go out to a house? And he says, €35. And then if they go ahead with the repair, that comes off the bill. So I said, okay, you get up, you get the phone call. You go out into your van, you drive to wherever they are, could be 20, 30 minutes away. You pull their washing machine out of their fitted kitchen with great difficulty. You take the back off, You see, I don't know, belt is gone or whatever. Washing machine isn't working. You tell them it's going to be 70 quid, and they say, no, not interested. You get 35 off them. You put it all back together. You push the washing machine back into their fitted kitchen. Try not to damage any of the nice presses. And then you drive home. You've got 35 quid for 3 hours work. No, that doesn't make sense. And I said this to your man. He's like, yeah, oh. When you put it like that, you know, I think in the end I talked him into giving up the white goods trade, not me entering it. But yes, no. Just not worth the effort, as George says, indeed. Ever come across the old ones where the TV gets damaged by water coming down the... I've seen that already. Well, we got a call years ago to a television that had sprung a leak. I should figure that out. Fixing fridges and washing machines, feck that. That's what I thought. And your man was like, yeah, sure, you're halfway there, you have a van. Yeah, right. You'd be better off in the dole. Sometimes it's easy. You just tell them it's fecked, that'll be 50 quid. Well, you see, Chipmunk, that's the problem. You've got a cohort of fellas now, and that's how they make their living. One in Dublin I know of, a chap who repairs televisions, and that's his business, is telling people it's 50 quid or whatever, and it's broken. And that's how he makes his money. I don't even think he takes the back off them. Sometimes people think it'll be cheaper to supply materials. Oh yeah, well sure, you know yourself, studio, that you know, you put a fiver's worth of parts into the back of the telly, but you spend 10 hours doing it. Oh, they think they can get the parts for 3 quid off AliExpress, it'll be cheaper. I don't know. George Donaldson's in the chat. Good evening, George. How you doing? I hope you're keeping well. Two Georges here now. We've George Donaldson, George Christophe. Of course, I think George Donaldson and George Christophe are both on the same page when it comes to people who do amateur radio contesting. I seem to remember there was a rather heated debate here on Sunday evening involving the radio cruncher who is into amateur radio contesting as it happens. George uses a word to describe them. I must say, I'm not into contesting on the amateur radio. Are you doing much on the amateur radio at the minute, George? Do you bother at all? I think you were at the FTA or something like that. I don't even have an aerial up at the minute. I don't care about contests. I haven't got the radio connected, so they no longer bother me. Oh. The bit of FT8 and that's it, yeah. That's fair enough, George, yeah. But more crack in the CB anyway. Do you get to make many contacts in the CB? I did notice there was a bit of a lift on there for the last while. On the 11. No radio at all, apart from a handful of the Quanshangs. This is George Christophe that I'm going to mess with the firmware. Oh, yeah, yeah. You can make them go on 11 meters and all that kind of stuff. Saying that. I make loads with just a 9-foot tank whip on the roof of the shed, yeah. It does go to show. You don't have to have any of these fancy, shiny poles. George says he's finding naked ladies more entertaining than amateur radio. I think that's always been the case, though, George. Christophe. We'll have to call you George C and George D, is not to confuse the situation. Studio says, I had a couple of Philips CM8833 monitors. Some were previously changed lobs, reversed, and then sold them on eBay. Both had crap, sold them, repaired both of them. I sold one of those recently, actually. I probably gave it away for what I sold it for, but it was in my way. I did feature here at one of the live streams, but CB George. Studio says, I really like the USSR showing content. I have a fair bit of Soviet stuff here myself, which I must get down to when time allows. Indeed. George says, I bought a huge job lot on Friday. I'll send you a pic and WhatsApp later. Sound, George. Sounds good. George CB. Did you ever see someone painting in the rain? Interesting stuff, I can tell you. Yeah, the Philips are good monitors, are they? I thought that. I got rid of my 8833. I did. I know. There was a fella here and he made me an offer for it, so, and it was kind of in my way. So I let him take it away. I had to be fair, I was happy enough with what I got for it. He knew what it was and what it was worth. The FM band was different, same as Japan, yeah. No, it wasn't. It was lower than that, wasn't it? It was 68 to 76 or something like that. The original one. You gotta love them Selena Vegas. My favourite. By far. This is one of the last ones and it has a very good FM on it. And they all suffer from very bad FM. Which we can have a listen to for the crack. Quickly. Lots of switch mode power supply noise. Doesn't like the phone either. George has sent me a picture of his hall. Good Lord, George. That's some haul of stuff you bought. Look at all the wire. Oh. Few President Lincolns in there anyway. Some amount of gear. What's the plan there? You're going to do them up and bang them on, yeah? Good man, George. Like that. I'll put a thumbs up on that. Where was I? Oh, he's getting distracted. I have a Polish radio with the old Soviet bands on it. Some of the old, I think the original FM band in the US pre-war, they had FM a long time. They had a pre-war. And I think that was, I don't know, 50 to 60 megahertz or something like that. But they went 88 to 108 very early on, straight after the war. This is medium wave on this thing. We'll have a listen to short wave and see what we can get. 49-meter band. Well, 41-meter band actually. Really good on short wave with a tuned RF stage. Good on medium wave and long wave. Tuned RF stage on all bands. What I do have to do though is I have to clean the fingers on the selector. Anyway. Doesn't the Russian radio stuff have... Oh yeah, hold on, let's see, I was there. Somebody, yeah, I read that too. Great radio for the money indeed, they were. Sure, they were giving them away for what they were. The FM transmitters from China cover both bands. That's right. Well, it was originally 88 to 100, wasn't it? Got a Commodore. Leaked through lines, I think they were. There was a realistic TRC 4.5 coat black shadow in the pile. Going to fully restore them, put DDS VFOs in them. Very good. They always look quite nice, the little with the little display in them, George, I think. It's a worthwhile conversion. Studio loves using vintage components, so do I. And there's no point stockpiling vintage stuff and then vintage working components which are reliable. Like someone said to me there a while ago, I did a car radio. Actually, this one up here, this little Pi radio, which I must get rid of. But OC28 transistor, output transistor, which was short circuit. So I have a handful of them here, and I stuck one in it. And every 3 or 4 comments on the video saying you should be putting those OC28s into that because they're worth money, you know. Which are like, what are they going to do here? They're going to sit in a box and then they're going to die and someone's going to throw them in a skip. If you have the stuff, use it. There's so many outfits out there now in their 70s and 80s, and you see them every day, and they're on the forums, and people that show you things on Facebook and that, where you know they're 76 and they've just found out of cancer and they have to get rid of all their stuff, and they've a house with 200 televisions in it or 200 radios and boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of components, which they're never going to use, and then no one will want them and they all go on a skip. So use the stuff if you have it. There's no point stockpiling stuff for the crack. Just a sidetrack, funny story. I once went to the tabletop at the Dulwich, met a friend. He needed a PX4 of his HM Radio. People get too passionate about them anyway. Yeah, no, it's nonsense. I bought him one and gave it to him for free after pretending to bang it on the table. Made lots of old boys very upset. Yeah, sometimes you have to be upset though, don't they? After telling that story, I accidentally left two 807 valves roll off my table and smash. Are 807s worth money now? That's one of the, I was just talking to someone yesterday about another hobby, but vintage cars. Chap that I know collects pre-war cars. Well, he's two, and he'd sort of usually have three, buy one and sell one and get another one. He likes to mix it around a bit. But he was saying the problem with this hobby, talking about his cars, was the first thing people say to you when they see an old car is, that must be worth money. And they're not really. And it's the same thing in this vintage radio, electronics hobby, be it televisions or whatever. You go to any of those shows and you see something for sale, phone, right? That phone on the desk. And everyone will walk by and look at it, and they'll all look at one another and go, that must be worth money. That's worth. And the problem with these people is who go around saying that must be worth money, that's worth 50, that's worth 60 because it's working, that's worth this, that's a fancy phone, Fluke 83 Mark III, that's worth money. That Evo is worth money because that's rare, because that's the one that they use on cars. It's an Evo 12. Oh, that's worth money because that's a NAD 3020 or whatever it is, and so on and so on. You know what I'm saying, right? Now, these people have the hobby ruined because they know the price of everything and the value of fuck all. And that's what has it the way it is. And people, I think, at one time got into this situation where they looked at all this shit as an investment, right? I am sitting in my workshop here on YouTube, right? And theoretically speaking, I have thousands of euros worth of equipment all around me. And stock, right? Thousands. But it's not. If I go to liquidate all this shit tomorrow, no one's going to want it. Right? 100 meg scope, right? Gold Star, which is LG, I think. I don't know what that was new. Probably £300 or £400, right? The Philips pattern generator, PM5415. I don't even want to think about how much that was when it was new. That was fucking stupid. I don't know how much they were. Probably over £1,000, right? The going back to the day, the Koenig frequency counter, that was probably £100 back in the 80s. The little multimeter was probably £70 or £80 back in the day. This NAD tuner, that probably wasn't just given away. The television was very expensive. This radio was probably cheap enough, but stock in the back, caps, right, looking there, 0.0022. I think they're a tenner for 100 or something like that. I was getting them off AliExpress, probably a couple of thousand there. There could be 300 or 400 quid's worth of stock just in that, in caps alone, right? But as I say, if I went to liquidate all this tomorrow, I'm not going to get that. ISO Tech bench power supply, probably £150. But no one's going to give you that for it now when it was new. But the thing is, even with the vintage stuff, the televisions and all, people, these old boys filled up their houses with stuff because they thought it was going to be an investment. Oh, old radios are just going to go up and up and up. Was to be less and less of them every year, but they're not, because trends change. And back in the 80s and 90s, when everyone was mad after pre-war radios, all them old boys are dying off now. Very few people my age and younger, studio's age or whatever, are interested in pre-war radios. Therefore, when you go to these deals now, pre-war radios, they're all sitting on the floor with €5, £5 stickers on them, are free, take me away. I mean, I was given one of the model number escapes me, one of the HMVs with the push pull output RF stage pre-war, big huge cabinet the size of that television. I was given it. Whereas at one time that would have been 300 or 400 quid. But yeah, that's the way it's going. But my point is, if you have a collection of stuff like George there with all them CBs, he's going to do them up, bang them out. Or you have a shed full of stuff like this, enjoy it. Get a bit of crack out. Don't be too precious about it. You know, restuffing capacitors and all this just because someone might see it down the line. I mean, if that really floats your boat, knock yourself out. But don't feel pressurized to do any of this. It's your stuff, and the chances are when you pop your clogs, someone's going to heave it all out into a skip because the house is worth more than all the shit that's in it. I think I made my point. I should read up on the comments after that. Plug out the heater. The heater, not the computer. Ooh. Studio agrees with me, the vintage output transistors, yeah, use them. When they're all used up, we'll find another solution. 2 and 3, 5 or whatever, will probably work. 3055. Tony, it's far better to see vintage stuff being used than go to landfill. David Rhodes is in the chat. Good evening, sir. This house what I was in Friday was full of radios. Ton of HF gear, Drake, Hika, Icom, Yazo, Kenwood, etc. I took all the CB stuff and the nice FT707, seeing that in the picture, which I'm going to restore. It's worth a lot of expense. Yes, exactly. About 3 valves broken transit, including the 66. George says, shit is gold again. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff, all right, Chipmunk. Yes, but we shouldn't be overly precious about our collections. Enjoy them, use them, share them with people, tell the story behind the equipment, which is often more interesting than the equipment itself. If you know the history behind it, who was the old dear that owned the telly or whatever, where did you come from? It's usually far more entertaining that telling someone that, this is a GEC 2000 series McMichael dual standard television set. No one cares, apart from us weirdos. And this is how you sell it to normal people. You tell the story behind it. Studio says, I would honestly love a knackered old 30s car, MOT and ULEZ tax free. You're not a Blade Runner, are you? Without getting political here, but there's a gang of lads and they call them Blade Runners, and they're going around with battery powered angle grinders and stuff, cutting down these ULEZ cameras. Some bias. Can't say I blame them. Car boot sales are dead now because everything is worth thousands on eBay. Exactly, Kev. The internet has absolutely ruined that. That and charity shops. Very rare to see anything of interest in a charity shop now because the first thing they do when it comes in is on the internet. Oh, one soul for this. And that's the end of that. Chipmunk says several tens of thousands for the pattern gen if broadcast standard when it was new. Yes. Is it broadcast standard? It probably is. It's a very snazzy piece of equipment, I know that. Which I was very lucky to get my hands on. And I have another one underneath that does teletext, which I don't use. Couldn't agree more with pre-war radios. I've got a few kit radios too, a few TRF radios, Lynx types. Yeah, know what you're talking about. I am overly passionate about phones. I still get upset thinking about all the relay and selector racks that got scrapped for the silver contacts in the 90s. Till they cut down something that's important. Yeah, well, that is always the danger. I don't condone cutting them down, whatever about a bit of spray paint or something. Oh, yes, we'd have a look at that studio. I love the weirdos getting overly passionate in videos repairing old VCRs, etc. Also, when dealers started taking an interest in our radio, worst thing ever happened. Yes, there was one dealer in particular who we won't mention here. It was dealing in radios and televisions and stuff, and also caused a bit of bother with some pre-war televisions and stuff. Some of these might have been stolen or something. Yeah. A matched quad of EF80s for $199. Ah, Jesus. How much is that GEC 2000 worth? Get the hammer now. Aren't EF184s rare? Not here, they're not. And as for PCF80s, I think they're more prolific than EF80s in this workshop. They seem to be popping up everywhere. Incredible little devices. Anyway, the point is, use your stuff if you have it. Enjoy it. Because when you're dead, it's going to go in the bin. Everything old is worth more as bits than complete and working these days. That is true. Mike Barker? No, not Mike Barker. What? I. Mike Barker. All I can say about Mike Barker is I've met Mike Barker on several occasions, and he's a gentleman. And he's also done me a little favour once or twice. Mike Barker is as sound as a pound, as we would say. That's all I can say about Mike Barker. He's actually delivered a few items for me in the UK. Are you saying I should use my card of vintage fuse wire label Southwestern Electricity Board? Maybe use a little bit of a chipmunk, because, you know, when you pop your clogs, they're just going to go, what's this bit of shit? Ben. Excuse me, I am a little bit tired. I'm going to pull the plug in a short while. Anyone ever put together one of these little 3 transistor Chinese kits, little FM transmitters? They're only a couple of quid. They're quite fun. I've put a few together with kids here. And then they can take them off with them and play radio at home. I have one in a box. Oh, yes. I have one mounted in this little box. Original GFM. And it'll do 300-400 yards. Sorry, the dealer you were referring to, I was going to say, Mike is a nice guy, but very busy. He supplied me with a full set of valves for my pre-war TV. Nice guy, 100%. Yeah, I know. No, Mike is 100% straight. It was not him I was referring to. This gentleman's actually since passed. This is several years ago. I've used all the 30 amp fuse wire off it. It's rare for UK Sparky to actually have fuse wire this out, and it's still in the standards. BS 3036 is not withdrawn. Neither have round pin plugs been taken off the legs. So how long will it be before we get emissions cameras over here, you think? I don't think it'll be all that long, Tommy. I think it'll be within the decade anyway. And can you drive your tractor on the road? I can drive my tractor on the road if I want to drive my tractor on the road, yes. I can indeed. No, I'm getting rid of the tractors. We should be putting them up for sale shortly. Still fit 5 amp BS 546 sockets for the table lamps people want off the light switch. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I mean, they're hitting us pretty hard here as well, George, to be quite honest. They're hitting us quite hard indeed. Which isn't great. Yeah, but no, we're getting lashed out over here with various taxes and regulations and stuff. It's horrible. It's actually not worth your while getting out of bed in the morning anymore. Highly recommend. Need to get a waiver if customer doesn't want PDD. Recommended for all domestic, but not mandated. But for certain places, Good night, Mr. Bourne. Take it easy. See you in the next one. Let's make a phone call for the crack. That is just super, isn't it? Yeah, it's all getting out of hand, Tommy. Oh, getting way out of hand. Oh, dear. Got that from the register. That's what they call the first gen of large phones. Fondle slab. Kev is going to Alex on Friday. What's that? Electrical exhibition or something? Oh, I don't know. Do tell, Kev. You're going to a basement to fit down lights on Friday. That could be anything, Chipmunk. The UK Electrical Industry Trade Show. Good for freebies. George's going to stay in bread on Friday. Is probably right too. Is that an S&M judging? Well, you see, Brum, that's what went through my head as well, but I didn't want to say it. Yeah, I didn't want to say it. Studio workshops working on Friday, but you work for yourself. You can take the day off if you want. No, collecting light bulbs is perfectly normal. No problem with that. No, collecting light bulbs is perfectly normal hobby to aspire to. Only worth collecting dead light bulbs. Oh, there. The proper ringtone. It's just like the Samaritans, though. They never answer anymore. Ever ready silver sale? Yeah, there's a few of them floating around here too. Good night, Kev B. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have you here. We wish you a good night and farewell. I think I have, Tommy. Right. That's me finished as well. I'm going to bed, just like Kev B there. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. It's been an interesting live stream. And we'll catch you again in the next one. Studio Workshop, you mind yourself out there in the big bad world of working for yourself. And yeah, to everyone else, take care. George Donaldson, thanks very much for tuning in. George Christophe, always a pleasure to have you here as well, sir. White Sapphire, of course. Noel Conway. Jim Simpson, all the way from Scotland, thank you. Tommy Hannon, one of my own. And Bro Madam, of course. And to anyone I've missed or was here earlier and has gone home now, we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, it's been emotional. Thanks very much, everyone. Take care for now. Good night.